Hey, how's it going, guys? It's been a while since I've done a video. I'm off today, so I decided I'd do that. The only real thing I have planned today is to get an alignment in preparation for my next Time Attack event, which is October 21st. And so we'll kind of discuss all that, what led me to getting into Time Attack. So why I got into Time Attack is I had initially planned, like when I was doing all this modding to my car. A lot of the modding first took place when I got the car in Hawaii, and I was stationed out in Hawaii. Um, at the time, I was just going. I ditched the whole stance thing with my G35 and the whole bags life and stance life and show car kind of thing, and I wanted to get something more back into the performance stuff. So I just ended up with a WRX because I had a new engine, seemed like something fun, and it wasn't too expensive. So I decided to go for that. Started modding it, but there's no track in Hawaii. There's only autocross, and I just don't know if I'm really an autocross guy because just seeing all those cones and stuff like that just seems super confusing, and I know I would get super lost during something like that. So I didn't really ever attempt to do that when I was in Hawaii. Then I came here to Colorado, got stationed out here, and I realized that, hey, I'm on the mainland now, and Colorado has a ton of tracks around here. I need to get my car built for attending one of these events, or I need to go to one of these events and just enter it. Sadly, that just never happened. I started following a page called PPIR Time Attack, which is Pikes Peak International Raceway Time Attack, and it's like their own event. It's not under SCCA or NASA or anything like that. It's the track's own event series. So it does take place on a small road course that's in the center of the track because the outside limits of the track is actually like kind of like a little NASCAR kind of oval or circle, and the inside is like actual little road course. So they get that, and what they do is they'll put like cones down on certain areas and add little things like slaloms and Chicago boxes and all kinds of different chicanas or whatever. So I add all that stuff in there, and they'll change out the layout and the direction each time by putting certain cones somewhere else. So you have cones and you have road driving. So that's what kind of got me interested in it, was because it's not all cones like how autocross would be. It is, you are getting road course time and you're on a road course, but there are also a little bit of cones implemented into it. So it's pretty cool. So I attended Rocky Mountain Subaru Festival probably about a month ago or something, and while I was there, I entered my car into the car show. Me and my wife walked around, checked out all kinds of stuff, the vendors and all that stuff like that. One thing that really interested me was the autocross event that was going on there, and it got me back motivated into working on my car and actually doing what I had intended for the car, which was to track the car or compete in some kind of event or something like that. The one thing that never happened before was I had never really gone through with it. I would always ask questions on the page, but never really got into showing up to any of the events. And I have to say, I'm going to be honest, guys, a lot of that probably had to do with intimidation and just kind of, not really knowing anyone. So I'd be going there on my own. So it was kind of a lot of pressure on me and stuff like that to actually sign up for one of these events and go through with it. So I just kind of stayed away from it. Or I was actually had, like an actual valid excuse, like I was recovering from my surgery in May for a good portion of the summer, so I missed a lot of the season, or I was gone because of work. So if it wasn't those, then it was probably more than likely I just wasn't up to it. So after that autocross event and watching that whole thing, I got super motivated. I actually went back on the page, started asking questions, signed up, gave all my information to one of the admin guys, and he ended up placing me into a class which was all-wheel drive A class based on the mods I have done to the car and the estimated horsepower. And I picked my number, which was 210, because I was primarily kind of raised in San Antonio, or grew up in San Antonio, so I chose those numbers because that's the area code. And I just bought some magnet numbers. You can use tape, like just how like you do in autocross, but you just gotta make sure it's neat and readable. But I just decided I'd just go all in and just buy some magnet cards for the doors, and I'll kind of go ahead and show you guys those real fast. Pop the trunk. So these are made by a guy called Sticky Vinyl Graphics. These are like magnet cards right here, so stick to your doors. They're actually printed onto this magnet. It's not vinyl slapped on or anything. It's all-wheel drive A-Class, number 210, and there's the Time Attack kind of logo thing right there. I kind of think it's a good investment. Makes it definitely quick. You don't have to worry about taping up your numbers or anything. You just slap them on, you're ready to go. And if you're going to be doing it, competing a lot, then it's just, it just looks nice, and it's very neat. Especially in the pictures, it'll come out really, really, really neat. What else? I thought, okay, so when I signed up, I went ahead and signed up for there's only 2 events left in the season, so it's better late than never. I thought, like, if I don't make both events, I make at least one of them, at least I'd get my feet wet and know what to expect for next season, and kind of take all those lessons learned and try to improve what I need to on the car before the next season, and improve on, certain things as a driver. So we're going to kind of talk about how it happened in the morning. I did all the usual prep. There's tons of track videos. I'll probably make my own one day before this next event on like what you need when you go to the track. That'll be a totally different video. I know there's a lot out there. Blake's Garage has one. And they apply for everything. It doesn't, like, the things you'll bring to autocross will be somewhat similar to what you're going to bring to a track day. So it's not all that different. I made sure the inside of my car was cleaned out, nothing loose hanging around. Brought a bag full of tools I needed, and brought waters, things to eat, and pump, air gauge for tires, tire pump, all that kind of stuff. Made sure I did an oil change right before the event and all that stuff. And topped off on any fluids I needed to on the car. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the event, like I've been saying. Morning of the event, drove up there. Paid my $50 to get in. That's the entry fee for the drivers to compete in the event. Paid my $50. Found the staging area. It was outlined by lines on painted rows on the ground, along with at the beginning of each lane or whatever, it was your class letters. So it was AAA. I found AA real easy and went and lined up behind the next car, and then took all my stuff out of the car, put it off to the side, because that's going to be your staging area where you're going to return to. And then I just pretty much waited around until it was I didn't wait around. I went and checked in at the booth because I was a new guy, so I had to check in, get my little sticker for my helmet, and slap it on there so they can scan it when I get to the starting line. And then I went and walked the track like twice to make sure I had kind of see what my plan was going to be when I get out there, and at least know what to expect. And that's very important, guys. I always arrive early so you can walk the track and kind of get to know what's going to be on the track, what your plan is, and kind of come up with a plan of attack. So after I did that, then I went and just hung out for the rest of the time. Talked to a bunch of people near me, all cool people, like super friendly community. Probably one of the best communities in the car community. Probably the best people I've met so far in the car community. Super friendly, super humble, willing to help you with any question you have, especially if you're a new guy. They would coach you if you needed coaching, and jump in the car with you, and anything else you needed. Unfortunately, I didn't really get anyone to jump in the car with me to coach me because I didn't ask for it. I just kind of jumped in and went at it. But probably next time I probably will get someone to coach me so I can get faster times. My times overall weren't bad. I think probably the slowest time I'd probably maybe seen up there was maybe like 80 seconds or something. I think my first round was like probably like a 73 or 74. Point something, I don't know, whatever. So that actually placed me out of 25 people in all-wheel drive A class that were there that day. I was number 11, which isn't bad at all for a noob, because I was a complete new guy there, and I don't know if there was any other new guys, but I definitely know I was, and I didn't do too bad at all. And then I think I held that spot maybe for 2 rounds, because there's a total of 5. I think I held it for 2 rounds, and then I think the other 3 I dropped down to number 20. But I still was increasing my times, were still always increasing. They weren't getting slower. So I actually got like a 69 on one of them. That was my fastest one of the day, and then the rest were like I think like 70 or 72 or something like that. I don't know. I'll post the sheet up. I can't remember on the top of my head, but I know that they didn't get horribly worse. They just kind of stayed about the same, or just a few milliseconds slower or something. I don't know. But everyone else obviously got a lot faster throughout the day, while I just kind of Slightly got faster, but not fast enough. But I was overall happy. I was having way too much fun. Not that there's a such thing, but I was having a blast, guys. Like, it's a totally different feeling going to one of these events and really pushing your car safely. And I feel like you could just go a lot more balls to the wall when you're at an event like this, because you know you're not going to hurt anyone else out there. You're not going to hurt any, like, other people on the road. You're not going to hurt any pedestrians. Nothing like that, It's just safe, and you can just go balls to the wall on this shit. I had a blast, like, so much fun. It was amazing. I had so much fun, I was forgetting to record a lot of the other laps. Luckily, I started remembering, and I started clicking on the GoPros and stuff, but it was fun. So I am competing on the October 21st one, and I will be doing a video kind of following up to that event. Today I have an alignment appointment. Like, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I'm going to be fixing the camber on the front of the car, because during those events, there were some things with the car that needed to be fixed. I need to add more camber to the front because I do not have enough camber on the front. The front is kind of like barely any, if that. The back has -2 or -1.5 for some reason. So I'm going to get rid of lessen the camber in the back, probably put it to like maybe a 1, maybe. And then the front, I'm going to try to get at least minimum of 1.5, or if I can get 2, then I'll get 2, because I only have the stock camber bolts, but I do have the camber plates on the top, so hopefully that'll help me get at least -2 degrees on the front and really help get rid of that understeer I was having. For brakes and stuff, I was running the stock brakes and stock fluid. Didn't boil anything because you have more than enough time for your car to cool down, and the weather is actually a lot colder now because it is October. So I didn't have any issues with anything overheating or anything like that. Weather was nice. Tons of time for your car to cool down, and the stock brakes weren't bad. They performed well, but not super great. I did order some StockTech street pads just to try them out, because the price for like about $130 or so total, or $120 total plus shipping and all that stuff. You get front and rear. You can't really beat that price, and it's probably a lot better than stock brakes. So I got those brake pads on the way. They'll be here definitely in time for the next event, so I will install those. And what else? Oh, I gotta learn. I started learning about PSI and stuff with the tires, because I had them set wrong. I kept lowering the PSI because I wanted more grip, because I felt like I was sliding too much. But if I had probably lowered the grip, lower the PSI in the back, and then raised the PSI in the front, that would have helped with getting rid of that understeer and giving more oversteer, which is what I needed. I also made a few changes. I went ahead and put the rear sway bar on full stiff because it was only on the medium setting, which was also, if it was on the full stiff setting, then it would have helped with giving a little bit more oversteer, since I was getting a lot of understeer. I also went ahead and adjusted the wing because it was kind of seemed like it was more of at a neutral position. I went ahead and adjusted it more down just to provide more downforce on the back to really plant those rear tires down and keep it from sliding too much and just kind of get more grip. I also stiffened up the dampening on the rear and softened up the dampening on the front. And yeah, like I mentioned, I'm just waiting on the alignment to give me more camber on the front and less in the rear, and that should help with getting rid of that understeer, and I should be good to go for this next event, and hopefully that's all I need to fix car-wise. Driver-wise, I need to work on definitely sticking to my plans, sticking to the braking zones I had planned, and braking at the appropriate times. I wasn't doing that. I was braking at the wrong times, braking too late or not braking, and just kind of slowing down or letting off the gas and not, pressing down on the gas when I should. There was a lot of things I wasn't doing right, and I wasn't consistent, which was kind of one of the other things. So I definitely learned a lot from that. Also, probably hand positioning too. Sometimes I was doing a lot of shuffling, and I wasn't doing the proper, proper way to hold the steering wheel and turn and stuff when you're on a track. Yeah, those are kind of a lot of things I learned. You'll definitely learn a lot if you guys go out there and you do this kind of stuff. There's plenty to learn. Plenty of things to, you'll get a lot of feedback afterwards, and you'll know what exactly you need to fix on the car, or what changes you need to make on the car, as well as what changes you need to make and improve on as a driver. So, yep, that's kind of all I have. That's kind of just talked about the event and stuff like that. Recent mods. I am flex fuel now. I got a Cobb flex fuel kit as well as the Dashworks 300C fuel pump. I'm not currently running E85 right now. I'm running 91 because I didn't fill up on E85 recently. I also have, I also finished my project right here, guys, on my replacing those rubber lines and brass fittings on the Moroso air oil separator. I went ahead and replaced those with AN fittings and braided nylon hoses. I also installed a Cusco battery tie down, just kind of more for looks, and it's kind of like an anodized blue, so it doesn't really match the painted blue that's on the Cusco strut tower bar or the brake master cylinder brace. But, oh well, still looks nice. And I kind of think that's all I've done recently. I'll do an overall video later on, kind of doing a walk around of the car, like in a nice location whenever there's nice weather, because right now it's raining today. It's pretty gloomy out and windy, so I'll owe you guys that video as well as, a track day kind of prep video, which I'll try to do. So I'll go ahead and catch you guys later. Leave any comments, questions, any questions or whatever you want to leave it in the comments, guys. I'll try to make more videos, and I'll catch you guys later.